A 2,500-year-old mystery. There was in the land of Persia a man named Haman, who rose to power under the Persian king Ahasuerus. Haman raged against the Jewish people. He threatened and planned their destruction. But the hand of God turned everything around. The Jewish people would be saved and destruction would come instead to Haman. The holiday of Purim celebrates the salvation of the Jewish people from Haman. What is Persia? It all happened in Persia. In the 1930s, Persia changed its name to Iran. Haman was a Persian or Iranian official who rose to power, raged against the Jews. Raisi was a Persian Iranian official who rose to power and raged against the Jews. Haman threatened the destruction of the people of Israel. Raisi threatened the destruction of the people of Israel. Haman was the number 2 official in Persia, second in command to the king. Raisi happened to be also the number 2 official in Persia, the second in command to the supreme leader. Haman sought to destroy his enemies through hanging them on the gallows. It's written that Haman actually built a gallows to hang his enemy, Mordecai, a sign of his campaign to wipe out the Jewish people. Could there be a connection with Raisi? Well, there is. Raisi was called the Butcher of Tehran. He was a feared man, a hated man. He was responsible for the brutal repressing of Iranian dissidents. He was a prominent judge on the Iranian Death Commission. He sentenced and called for the execution without trial thousands of innocent Iranians to go to their death. There have been calls for prosecution against him for crimes against humanity. Haman built a gallows for those he viewed as his enemies. How did Raisi kill those he saw as his enemies? He killed them by hanging them on the gallows. Raisi sent multitudes to the gallows, just as Haman was seeking to do. He was called the hanging judge. Haman was the hanging anti-Semite, so was Raisi. Haman was a Persian official, number 2, who raged against Israel, threatened its destruction, linked to the hanging and the gallows. Raisi was a Persian official, number 2 in the government, who raged against Israel, threatened the destruction of Israel, and was linked to hanging and the gallows. He may be the first person in the history of Persia to meet all those criteria of Haman, a Persian official, especially linked to the gallows and threatening the destruction of Israel. On top of being the first president of Iran to actually launch a strike against Israel. You know what God said? He said, "He who touches Israel touches the apple of my eye." It is a dangerous thing to do what Raisi did. So what was Haman's fate? Haman had threatened to destroy the Jewish people, his instrument of destruction with the gallows, so he was hung, destroyed on his own gallows. Raisi was also linked to the gallows, but the weapon he used to bring destruction to Israel, again, was airborne, sent through the sky to crash into the soil of Israel. So it was airborne. His death would come airborne through the sky, crashing into Iranian soil, that his life would be brought to an end. The overcoming of Haman brought rejoicing to Israel. When the news of Raisi's end was known, though some were sad, there was rejoicing throughout Iran. Fireworks and celebrations for the end of the butcher and hangman of Tehran. One Iranian said it was the first crash in history where people were worried that there might be survivors. Ezekiel's prophecy. Raisi also has a connection to October 7th. It was Iran's support and funding and training of Hamas that brought Israel's worst day since the Holocaust. And Raisi was the leader of Iran behind that day. The prophet Ezekiel foretold that in the last days, when Israel is gathered back to the land, the nation called Paras in the Bible, Paras is Persia, Persia is Iran, will come against Israel, will be an enemy of Israel. After Israel is gathered back in the land, it says that Paras, or Persia, or Iran, will launch a military attack against it. Now, Iran has never launched a direct attack, military attack on Israel, ever. But on April 14th, that all changed. That's just a little while ago. The Iranian attack on the land of Israel was a first. First time Iran ever directly attacked the land of Israel, all aligning with Ezekiel's prophecy. In fact, it was the first time that any of the nations cited by Ezekiel in that prophecy that are to attack Israel in the last days actually launched a direct attack on Israel. How did Ezekiel know all that? God knew it. It is not yet the fulfillment, the fullness of that prophecy, but it's a gigantic step in line with that prophecy. So Raisi was the closest one in fulfilling Ezekiel's prophecy. And what happened to him? He crashed into the earth. He crashed into a mountain. Now listen, in the prophecy of Ezekiel, what happens, what does it say in Ezekiel 38 and 39? What will happen to the enemies of Israel? This is what it says. Listen closely. Then I will strike your bow from your left hand and make your arrows drop from your right hand. Well, the arrows and the missiles of Iran were struck down when they tried to attack Israel. So too now was the leader was struck down. Now listen what it says. I will bring you to the mountains. Raisi was brought to the mountains. You will fall on the mountains. So Raisi fell on the mountains. His helicopter fell on the mountains. He came crashing down on the mountains. It says, you and all your troops, they will fall on the mountains. So the leader of Persia has fallen on the mountains. Now on the day that this is fulfilled, according to the prophecy, they will be in Israel and fall on those mountains. But as Iran's attack of Israel is a shadow of the attack that is coming, Raisi fell on the mountains, a shadow of the coming fall. The ancient entity, a mystery now from the book of Daniel. To see the full mystery and more on Ezekiel's prophecy, check out what we posted, the Persian mystery. But now I'm going to open up more and share what I did not share before. But first, to set the stage, the prophet Daniel is taken captive from Israel into exile, into the court of Babylon. While there, he receives revelation from God concerning Israel and the end and the last days. In Daniel 10, it says, in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, Iran, a message was revealed to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar. The message was true, but appointed for a longer time or a later time. And he understood the message and had understanding of the vision. Now on the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, that is the Tigris, I lifted up my eyes, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose waist was girded with gold, a Uphaz. So Daniel's at the side of the Tigris River. He sees an angelic being clothed in white, and that being has come to give him a revelation from God. He says to him, don't fear, Daniel, for from the first day you set your heart to understand and humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I've come because of your words, but the Tsar Malchut Paras withstood me for 21 days. Amazing thing. The angel of God is prevented from coming to Daniel because of another entity. The angel calls him the Tsar Malchut Paras. The word Tsar means prince, head, chief, captain, ruler, steward, lord, or master. The word Malchut means kingdom. It refers to that kingdom. What kingdom? The word is Paras, same word used in Ezekiel 38 and 39. It's Persia. So the Tsar Paras, who is the Tsar Paras? It's a demonic entity. Why did the Tsar Paras try to stop that angel? The angel was coming to give Daniel a revelation. It says, I've come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the last days. For the vision refers to many days yet to come. The last days, it's an end time prophecy. It's your people, that's Israel, the Jewish people. The prophecy is going to focus on the city of Jerusalem, the temple of Jerusalem. It has yet to be built. It's going to link up with the book of Revelation, the Antichrist, the end of the age, the return of the Messiah. So this demonic entity, the Tsar Paras, is seeking to prevent all that. He's against end time prophecy being given. the end time purposes of God concerning Israel, the Jewish people. In the last days, you've got an anti-Israel demonic entity. It happens to be linked to one specific nation, Persia, and Persia is Iran. The Tsar Paras can be translated as the ruler of Iran, a demonic spirit ruling, leading Iran. It's the mystery behind all these things. When Israel comes back into the world in the last days, this entity, the Tsar Paras, is going to be especially active or activated. That's why Iran turned into the most anti-Israel nation on earth, what Israel calls its arch rival. That's why Iran is not normal. That's why Iran sponsored terrorism around the world, evil. That's why Iran was behind Hamas, which orchestrated October 7th. Behind it all was a demonic spirit. That's why Iran is obsessed with Israel and wants to destroy Israel. That's why Iran is obsessed with gaining the powers of nuclear destruction. It is driven by the Tsar Paras, a demonic spirit, the entity of Iran, which is obsessed with stopping the purposes of God that are going to come through the nation of Israel in the last days. If it can destroy Israel, it can stop the purposes of God. That's why the nations of this world try to control Iran, but they can't, because you cannot control a demonic spirit with diplomacy. And as demonic spirits seek to possess and control, so Iran seeks to bring other nations and powers under its control. So it has a network of terror throughout the Middle East, Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Yemen, in Gaza, Hamas, and beyond all that, right now, Iran controls about 4 other nations of the Middle East. Hi, I'm Jonathan Cahn, and I hope you were blessed with the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Feel free to share your reactions with your comments and how you were blessed, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.